And today in our studio we have Gregory. Hi, Gregory.
Hi, Olga. Thank you for having me in here. It's a pleasure being here, and it's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. So you are a real life college student, uh, and you still remember all about high school talks and everything. So we would really appreciate your insight and what the young adult slang sounds like or looks like nowadays.
Well, sure. Yeah, no, I'm happy to come on here and talk about the high school slang. Freshman in college here, so I'm not too far out of touch. I think I still got it. Pretty woke, I would say.
Pretty woke. What's that?
Uh, hmm. I don't know. If I had to describe it, you ever heard of a third eye?
Right.
It's kind of just like awakening your third eye, being woke, just like being able to see.
Okay, that's very insightful. Okay, I am being woke today.
Yeah,
Can you say that?
I'm woke today.
I am woke today. Okay, so just inside of it, is it like meditation thing
It
or?
could be. It could be. You could be like, I'm woke to like the world around me. Like I know what's going on, or like I'm actively participating.
Oh, that's a pretty cool word. I should remember that one.
Yeah.
So, what is the typical description you would use describing, I don't know, a cool girl in a college?
I don't know. If I had to say, I don't know. I'd probably say, oh, that's kind of a baddie right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Batty, and what's that?
Uh, just a good looking woman.
Okay, so
It's
how
a
would
very
you?
broad term. It's just for a good looking woman.
Okay. What would be the term for the handsome uh, man?
That's actually that's a good question. I don't think there is too many terms for that kind of male, space. There's a lot of, slang, and maybe it's just because, I'm not a female and I'm not in touch with that. But
Mm.
from what I know, I don't think there's too many.
So it's not like, oh, she called me this, that means I'm totally awesome in her eyes, or.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything that happens like that. It's kind of a unlevel playing field. I feel like there's more slang for the guys than there is for the girls.
Hmm, interesting. And I would think it would be the opposite because girls talk about boys probably more, and well, at least that's a stereotypical perception of mine. Okay, so what would be the common word you would describe the people you typically hang out with or your crew, if that's the word?
Well, I don't know. It's just me and my gang, my
Mm-hmm.
homies.
Okay.
Those are two things that you could probably say. Just like descriptions for, a friend or like a group of friends that you're with. That's what people kind of are just saying nowadays.
How do you call your best friend?
My best friend? Hmm. I'd say my day one.
Your day one?
My day one. That's what I'd
Interesting.
call them.
Interesting. That's totally
Just
unusual.
because it even if they aren't, even if they haven't been with you since quote unquote day one,
Oh, okay.
it's kind of a term of like, oh, they're my best friend, like they're my day one.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's like an old friend that knows me really well or something
Yeah,
like this.
yeah, you
Even
could say
if,
it like that.
so it cannot be like you, a new acquaintance. It has to be somebody close to you.
No, it can't be a new acquaintance. You can as much as you can try to claim they're a day
Hmm.
one, they can't be a day one.
Okay. Okay. That's very cool. How would you describe the teacher in a college who is really bugging you, giving you too much homework and totally unfair and okay, I'm not gonna record this word.
Yeah, yeah, no. There's I think we already know all the slang for that one. Uh
Okay.
yeah.
So, come on, what would be the code word for the for the young teenagers to use at school?
I don't like Karen. We'd call her a Karen.
Okay.
She's a Karen.
Well, that's the typical one
Yeah.
nowadays.
It's
Okay.
it's kind of becoming more commonplace, but before it kind of wasn't, mainstream. Now
Okay.
it is.
Okay. Okay. So, what other words would you recommend us to know? I don't know. Something describing good food or fun experience.
Hmm. if I had to describe a good experience or something, I don't know. I would probably I'd probably say it's like fire, or
Mm-hmm.
it's like, or that was like a gnarly thing. I don't know. It just most of the times we've kind of grown out of the everything is slang. So we do, we talk about descriptive words as descriptive words. Like, that was a really good like steak. I'm not gonna
Okay.
say like, oh, that was a slam fire steak. I'm gonna say like, that was a good steak.
So you just become more eloquent as you move away from the high school.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
say so.
Interesting. I heard something about snatched. What's that? Being snatched? It's
Oh,
like that. It sounds horrible. It's like,
yeah, out of context that could sound pretty horrible, but it's that's kind of more of like that's one of the female slang terms
mm-hmm,
that's one that I know. It's I guys don't use it ever, like almost at all. I've never
mm-hmm.
heard anyone use it personally. But it's snatched is supposed to like, I don't know, snatched.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's supposed to talk about figure and stuff.
Oh, so like
Like, oh,
our
she's absolutely snatched. She has an hourglass figure.
oh, okay. So attractive figure
Hmm.
is a snatched.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Snatchable? Snatched. Okay, got it. uh, thirsty. What was that all about?
Yeah, this was a pretty big one not too long ago, and I still hear it going around, but it's not as popular. Thirsty is probably best described as just when someone is like so like just distraught without someone.
Mm-hmm.
They keep going for them and going for them and going for them. They're so thirsty,
Oh,
like they're water, and they're like in the desert. They're so thirsty.
oh, that's like desperate and everything.
Like desperate. Yeah.
Okay, so can you use it in a sentence?
I'd probably say like, "Oh, he's so thirsty for her. Like, can he just give it up or something like that?"
Oh, okay, okay. So thirsty is not a good thing. It's like,
No,
ooh, I
I
like
mean,
him so much,
yeah,
I'm
no.
thirsty.
You don't want to be labeled as uh, a thirsty person. You kind of want to be seen as like respectable. You don't want to seem desperate.
Oh, is it like clingy?
No, no, I wouldn't say so because it's getting
Before.
into before you could even get clingy.
Oh, okay. So first you're thirsty, then you get to the person and you become clingy.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's the horrible progression. Um, thinking about other, so what's with the words like cooked or tea? Why so much food related? Munching, food, cook.
Well, it's funny to say because like half of these things they mean none of the same things, even though they're all food related. I could start over here with cooked. Yeah, usually that's just a sign of like trouble
Mm-hmm.
or like getting in trouble. So I would say like, oh, my friend, oh yeah, he got caught doing something last week and now he's suspended.
Mm.
He's cooked.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So cooked is
So
not the same as baked.
no, 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 definitely not.
Okay. Well, I am trying to show off my slang here.
That's good. Tea, we use tea as like a, you know how people share information over tea or coffee.
Oh, right.
It's tea time. It's I want to share information. Let me spill the tea. Let me talk to you about something.
Okay. Okay. So, let's hang out and have some, not have some tea.
Not have some tea, but let's hang out and let me spill some tea. Because spilling the tea is kind of like letting loose the information. Usually, when you spill tea or
Mm-hmm.
talk about tea, it's a secret information or something that someone else
Ooh.
doesn't want you to know. So you're
Oh,
spilling the tea.
it's like spilling beans.
Sure, yeah, it's like the new version of that, spilling the beans.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. And munching?
Munching, that's kind of just a general term for eating.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're hungry, you're gonna like, oh, I want to go munch up right now.
Okay. Not to be confused with thirsty. Okay, I remember that part. Can you give us the example of like a sentence or two, or like a typical conversation you would have with your friend if you wanted to describe your day, for example? and make
Uh,
it slang
sure.
heavy?
Yeah. So me and my homie, we're about to go dip and go to the kava bar. Maybe after that, we're gonna go to the club and find some woke snatch baddies that we can go try to riz up.
Okay. Riz up, I remember from our last podcast, and it
Yeah,
was
that's more of a younger generation kind of term, but you told me to go slang heavy, so I'm kind of throwing wild balls here now.
okay, excellent. You said something about dip?
Dip, yes. We're about to go dip and go somewhere else. It's basically just leaving. We're about to go do something else. We're about to go.
Okay, so it's like leaving and going somewhere. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's like, let's dip out of here.
Yeah,
Okay, so we don't get cooked.
sure. If you're doing something,
Shady.
yeah,
Shady? Can you still use shady?
yeah.
Okay, still a word?
Shady still a word, yeah.
Oh, nice. Any receipts or something extra salty? That's some words I heard,
Yeah.
or it's not used much anymore.
The other ones, they're kind of. I think those are pretty common. Extra and salty. Extra literally just means being extra or something
Okay,
like
over
that.
the top.
Yeah, and salty is kind of like it's supposed to mean being upset or like bitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not a pleasant thing
Okay.
because you don't want salt on your tongue just randomly.
Oh,
Salty like.
okay. Okay.
So, the other one, receipts. That's kind of like proof or evidence, bringing evidence to the table. Oh, I brought receipts. So like if someone's like, I didn't do that, and but you know, and you have some proof, you can be like, I have the receipts,
Okay.
and then you drop them down.
Okay, so it's not so it can be pictures, it can be recording, it can be
Anything.
anything, but it called receipts for
Yeah.
the meaning of the proof.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, that's very very cool. So, but you said you find yourself using less slang nowadays.
I do. I don't know. It just it feels like the longer you live and the more like you experience, I don't know. You kind of see how the slang can kind of get weird and kind of make sentences hard to follow. So,
Oh, okay.
it is good to broaden your vocabulary and everything like that. But yeah.
Because when we had our episode with the um, middle school girls, they were so slang heavy, but probably because they have to hide so much information from the parents or something.
Possibly, yeah. I feel like at this point everything is already, off the table, kind of done.
There's no much tea left to
There's not
spill.
much tea left to spill. There's not. I can't really get too much more cooked than I already am or have been in the past. So
Oh, this is so awesome. It's like I'm so glad I can understand what you're saying. That's incredible. Well, thank you so much. Any last words, like advice for the people who is learning English as a second language, and what would you recommend for them if they try to tackle this vocabulary of the slang?
oh gosh, all I have to say is just keep yourself on your toes because it changes so often. It's crazy. I don't remember half of these words being like a thing a couple of years ago, and now they are. So who knows what the next, 7 bunch of words are going to be? Because you can't predict them. You just don't know. They could just be new words.
Right, and it's so confusing because again, when you start talking about tea and salt and munch, and it's like, okay, this is and dip. It's like, okay, we're talking about lunch break here,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it's all in, not even connected, and
Yeah.
when you untangle it, it's completely different meaning.
Yeah, no. A lot of slang has a lot of different terms, and again, some of the stuff can mean different things, even though it means something, because it just has been given a different definition.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for participating in our podcast. And hopefully, we can see you again sometime.
Thank you too.